happened?
He's a former coworker of mine. We worked together for about 2 years, and we actually got to know each other pretty well. I mentored him, and then there were some layoffs at the company that we worked for. And about a month after that, I just wanted to check in on him, make sure he was okay. And turned out, based on our conversation, he was having a really tough time, and he ended up asking me for a loan of $500.
Okay.
Yeah. And in the 2 years that I got to know him, he never really asked for a loan like that before. It kind of felt like he really needed it. So, I really wanted to help him out. I liked him. He's very talented.
So you loaned him the $500, and with the understanding was that he would pay you back when?
I didn't give him an exact date. I just said as soon as possible. I knew that he'd been working some odd jobs, and it sounded like he was working really hard at getting another job. So I just assumed it would be within a reasonable amount of time.
But your opinion of what's a reasonable amount of time and his may be different. That's a problem with a reasonable amount of time.
Yes.
But that was the understanding. When he gets a job and he can pay you, he should pay you. All right, then what happens?
I checked on him monthly, gave him a call. He was still looking. Called him again the following month, and he was still looking. No prospects, nothing. And then after the third month, it kind of became clear that he wasn't really looking for a new job. It just felt like he was stringing me along.
Okay.
And I was beginning to feel like I was being taken advantage of.
So,
You mean to tell me that this guy looked at this guy and he thought that he was gonna pay him back on his loan? Not to judge a book by its cover, but this guy looks like the type of person that probably won't pay you back. Let's see what happens.
you decided then.
He started crying over the phone, Judge. So I decided to give him an opportunity to work this money off.
And work it off by doing what?
By building a website for my new company.
And what made you think he had that kind of talent?
Oh, because we'd worked together before.
So you've seen websites he's built for other people?
I've seen websites he's built for other people. I knew that we'd worked in a corporate environment where deadlines mattered. So I gave him a certain amount of time to get this website done.
How much time did you give him for the website to get done?
4 months, Your Honor.
And was the website done?
No.
All right. What was he able to get done in those 4 months?
An unsatisfactory amount of work. It was really, really disappointing.
All right. He calls you to see how you're doing, and you hit him up for money.
Yes.
Okay.
He called me, and after a month, he called me after a month. I got laid off from the company. He calls me just to check up on me, because we had a rapport and everything. So he called to check up on me. I tell him, hey, I got laid off. It's been rough, trying to find jobs and everything.
So you borrow $500, and when and how are you supposed to pay that money back?
Well, we agreed that once I got a job and I had sufficient income to pay him back, I would. And I was very thankful.
Let me ask you a question. What were you doing? What kind of job were you looking for?
We worked at a marketing firm, so I was working I know how to do website design, so I was looking to do something like that, like marketing.
All right, but in the meantime, throughout all those months that you owed him the money, did you take a job at McDonald's or somewhere else just to survive? What did you do?
I was doing odd jobs.
So you just didn't have. Did you make like a payment just so that he would know that you weren't forgetting him? Like, did you say to him, "Can I give you a little here, a little there"? Did you do anything to try to repay the loan?
I didn't do anything to repay the loan, but we had an agreement that I would pay him back once I was employed, and I was working on getting gainfully employed so I could pay him back.
So in any event, at some point the deal entirely changes. You are going to do a website for him.
Yes.
Does it take 4 months for you to do a website?
That was the time that we agreed on to make. But then after 3 months, so he checked in with me monthly, right? I didn't have anything.
What exactly? Okay, besides saying you're working on it, what have you done in 2 months? That's what I want to know.
First month I was brainstorming and working on the aesthetics, and the second month I was putting in the code, making sure if you click somewhere it works. But after 2 months, it's not feasible to show someone that because it's just a bunch of code and lines.
So you tell him you don't want to. Excuse me. You tell him you don't want to show it to him yet, and then month 3 happens, and what happens?
Month 3 happens, and I have the meat of the website is done. Everything is, but the only thing is that aesthetically is not complete because we agreed on 4 months. But then after the third, and so I showed him the website after 3 months and everything, and I thought everything was good.
Wait, were you done when you showed it to him after 3 months?
No, I was not finished.
No. Okay, so when you say you thought everything was good, you mean What did you mean?
I mean, we talked. I showed him the website. I showed him that everything was functioning and everything, but it wasn't the 4 months yet. So the last month is to make everything pretty and marketable, you know, so people will come and use the website.
Okay.
But so we talked, and I showed him the website, and I thought everything was good because it wasn't the 4 months yet, right? So but then the very next day, he reaches out and says, "Oh, I'm actually going to be making. I'm going to be going with someone else and have them to work on the website."
So, but he didn't. So he doesn't end up using any of the stuff you did.
No.
But you feel it is unfair to have you working all that time and then not give you any credit for the work that you did.
Yes,
because you feel he pulled the rug out from under you before it was time.
Yes,
he didn't
and I
give
have
you
a
the full
log.
4
I have a
months.
log of all the things that I did in those 3 months and the hours that I worked.
Let me see that.
Just a lot.
Why?
Well, if he's able to prove that, he has a pretty solid case on his hands. Because if they agreed on 4 months, but he ends pulls the rug from underneath him before the 4 months, then he has a pretty solid case there. And the thing is, the guy that wanted him to create the website didn't even give him a chance to maybe correct any or give him any notes or anything like that for what he was looking for. So we might have a pretty solid case here.
Did you pull the rug out from under him before the farm? Like you were so patient all the other times. I'm wondering why you didn't just wait until the 4 months were over and then say, I haven't asked my question yet. And then say, once he gives you the finished product, that's acceptable, that's not acceptable. You know what? I don't want your product. Give me the $500. You know, whatever it is coming to your head. But why don't you at least give him that other month for him to go ahead and finish it?
I'm growing my own business, Your Honor. This is something that I've been very passionate about for a long time. That 4 month period, yes, I said 4 months, but I know what he can do. So I fully expected him to be done with this well before the 4 month period. So that's why when he showed me what he had,
Then why
after
did you
3
give him 4 months? You muddied the waters because if your contract is he has 4 months to give you a finished product, in 3/4 of the way through you pulled the plug. So what am I supposed to do? Say, oh no, now you worked for 3 months, but now you got to pay the $500. I mean, what was your theory behind pulling the plug 1 month in advance of the time that you had given him?
I was giving him extra time because I know he's also out there looking for other
but you're
work.
not. I know. Then what made you change your mind and not give him the extra time?
Because he gave me this, Your Honor. If I may, please show me.
Yeah, you may, but if it's not done, it's not done. If you wait until the 4 months are over and then what he gives you is unacceptable, that's one thing. What does this page represent? Explain things to me.
It's the main layout of the thing, but it's not pretty. But everything is functional.
It's not a matter of pretty. Where do you click on things?
On the top row, you see all those it's still kind of bare because I didn't have enough time to put the aesthetics into it. But everything functionally works. If you click something, it brings you to another page.
All right. So how much more work did you have?
It was just the last month was all working on cosmetics.
After what he showed me, I went and I dropped this clown because I gave you more than enough time to not only find work,
didn't.
but
You didn't give him the time you agreed on. I didn't write the contract. You did.
Yeah,
I didn't dream the contract. You did. I didn't enter the contract verbally with him. You did. So you decide that you're going to give him 4 months, and then you change the parameters, but you want me to say his work is worthless. You can't pull the plug beforehand because then it's you who's breaching. You see? I mean, listen, you're a businessman. You didn't like what you saw. You didn't have a lot of time left. You can make all the decisions you want. Absolutely. You're large and in charge. But here's the deal. You're coming to court then and saying, and you got to pay me $500. If you were just at home and saying, forget it, I'm pulling the plug, I'm cutting my losses, okay. But that's not what you're doing. You're coming to court and saying, you breached the contract because I don't like what you've done so far. That's not how it works. So I'm going to order you to pay back a portion of the loan since you didn't end up having to do the rest of the work, $125 for him. The $900 is just you making that up. The only thing that was ever supposed to happen was the $500 was supposed to be forgiven. So tell me the math on your $900.
The $900 is, I did $30 an hour for all the work that I did, right?
What contract is that? This is the first time I've heard that contract. Did he ever enter into that contract?
The $30 is just like a base amount of pay for the work that I've done.
You weren't being offered for this job, were you? That may be, first of all, if you were getting $30 an hour, where you been for 4 months when you owed him the $500? So this $30 an hour is completely made up in your mind right now in front of me for this case. But I cannot enforce a contract you didn't enter into. You can't just decide the contract you wish you'd done. Oh, I wish I'd charged him $30 an hour. Where are you coming from? On your counterclaim against him, 0. On his claim against you, a portion of the money, $125. That's what's fair.
All rise. Wow, I did not see the case going in that direction at all. The guy that was creating the website, he did do 3/4 of the work, and Max, the plaintiff, should have waited the full 4 months before pulling the plug. If he waited till the 4 months that they agreed on, and then was like, "No, this is not what I'm looking for," then he would probably have a stronger case. What do you guys think about the judgment? Do you think it was too much, too little, or just right? I would love to know your thoughts. Let me know. Love ya.